everyone, welcome back to our YouTube channel. I am Savannah and my best friend is Casey. She's outside, but we are gearing up for a day of working on our kitchen. I wanted to start out and say that we have opened up a new Etsy shop. It's called Goods and Vibes. Right now we have a lot of original t-shirt designs up there that you can purchase, and every purchase helps us keep funding everything we're doing here on the land. If you don't know, we have sort of a design background. We've been bloggers for over 10 years, and we've actually had a clothing company, and we sold t-shirts many years ago, but we're bringing it back. Definitely check that out. We're starting to put mugs on there, and we will probably put more types of goods on there over time, but we're just kind of building it from the ground up. So anyway, if you are interested in some gifts for people or for yourself, definitely check out the shop. It's called Goods and Vibes. I will link it in the description box, and any purchase you make is greatly appreciated and helps us very much.
Today we're finally getting started on the kitchen again. It was weeks and weeks ago that we got like the walls up, but now we are going to start working on putting in cabinets. Due to budget, we decided instead of buying pre-made cabinets that we're going to make them ourselves, and we'll see. That's what we're working on today. I had to rearrange everything, so looks kind of wild in here. This is going, instead of having that, we are having this much smaller oven. We bought the more expensive 2x4s, and look at this. It's been a nightmare to screw in. It keeps splitting. See there? And Savannah made sure to pre-drill all the holes, but it's still managing to split, which is a problem we've never had when buying the cheapest 2x4s. So it's crazy. I have no idea what's going on. Kind of think about returning it. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Day two of getting our, well, day two of what? I don't know. Getting kitchen cabinets. Savannah, tell me what happened in the far right corner over there.
Well, last night we took measurements for the beadboard because we had these 3 little spots that the beadboard didn't go all the way to the ground. And we knew we wanted to cover these just for protection. So we measured it last night. Then this morning we went to cut it, and
Went the wrong direction.
couldn't remember. I mean, just like cut it in a direction, and it was like not the right one, but it's fine. This is going to be behind the counter. You won't see it. It's more like when you open cabinets, or I don't even know how much you'll really see this, but we just wanted it for protection, so it's not a big deal.
We're real pumped about having countertops, almost as much as having a sink. But the sink is by far the thing we're all the most excited about. You gotta have a countertop before you can have a sink.
It looks massive. Casey is opening our stovetop. We need to know what size to cut out so that we know how to build the cabinet underneath. And I was looking online to see if there was any kind of information about that, and I can't find it. So now she's opening this massive box to try to figure it out.
Doesn't look like much, but here we are. We have had a hiccup in the day. It started raining, so we can't really cut any wood or do anything. So now we're running to the hardware store because we need to get another piece of plywood and do a few other town tasks. In other news, one of our very good friends is coming in to town tomorrow. This will really be like our first real visitor. Her and 2 of our other friends actually came and stayed with us the very first night that we moved onto the land. We slept in the van because the other friends that came with us were the people who owned the camper that we borrowed. So they got it all set up for us and everything. And then Grace, our friend that's coming, slept in the Bell tent, which is now our storage shed, if you will. When the camper people left, we moved into the camper. So this will be the first time she's been here since we first moved here, and there was absolutely nothing on the land. So we're kind of excited. Well, we're very excited to show her everything we've done, and she is offering her services. So we will definitely put her to work. We are kind of torn as to what projects we will have her do. We have a very long list, many things that she can do. We'll just have to see what we get into.
When the morning's standing at your door, brighter than all mornings come before. Don't be late, my dear. Life won't wait, my dear. Don't be late. When the day is longer than the night, the road ahead is clear and in the light is clear. Don't be late, my dear. Life won't wait.
Moon is watching shallow dreams. Night is rocking her to sleep. Wind whispers in the trees. Hidden secrets are hard to keep.
We have finished framing out, minus this little section. This is gonna be a special framing. But we're ready to put the countertop on. So we're gonna go cut that right now.
Hidden secrets are hard to keep. She's still waiting, holding on through the night. She's still waiting, wishing time could make it right. She is waiting. Dawn is bringing morning light. She's waiting to end this fight.
Well, hot dang! We got some countertops. Of course, you know, we gotta cut. They're not attached, and the sink needs to be cut out there, and the stove. Well, the whatever it's called, stovetop needs to be cut up right there.
Hidden secrets are hard to keep. He's still waiting, holding on through the night. He's still waiting, wishing time could make it right.
So we're going to be finishing the countertop with this Watco Danish oil. Basically this bonds with the wood rather than like sitting on top of it. It's just like a way better protection, and you can just go like in a few months from now we can just put another coat on without sanding or do anything like that. So it's just gonna be, I feel like, easier to upkeep it, but we'll see. I've done a lot of research about it. Oh god, give me the paintbrush. Hurry, hurry. Got a paintbrush. wild how it goes on here.
While we wait for this first coat to dry, which is just 15 minutes, Savannah is going to tell you why we're doing what we're doing.
When we were thinking about what to do for our kitchen, we thought of a lot of different things we could do, and ultimately we just wanted, really the cheapest option was the first thing we wanted. And then we thought we were going to be using our milled wood, but then we decided that we wanted to wait for a while until it dries out. So the cheapest thing that we came up with was kind of making our own shelves. And we had this really big conversation about why kitchens are the way they are. That's not for here, but we decided we don't have to do all cabinets. You know, we could have some curtains to cover up shelves, or we could have open shelves. We love open shelves, but we also have a lot of dust in the tiny home because it's so tiny. So we don't want to have a ton of open shelves. All this to say, the cheapest thing that we came up with was building the frames of the underneath the countertop, so the cabinets, but not really. We may put some doors, some drawers, we'll see. But we did the framing with 2x4s. We bought good quality 2x4s for that, but we didn't spend a lot of money on that. And then we decided to go with plywood on top of the counters. So we were going to do our wood, like I said, our milled wood, but because we are waiting for it to dry out really good before we use it, we decided to go with the plywood option. So we did buy a more expensive piece of plywood, a nicer piece, and it is white oak on the top, which is a lot of what we have is white oak that we got milled. So our island right now has our milled wood on it, and it is also white oak. So we went that route. It's all gonna match. You might be wondering, but plywood is not that great for countertops. The thing is that people do plywood for countertops. It is way more common to just buy a countertop, you know, a stone or butcher block, which is what we had at our old house. We liked it. Those kinds of things. Formica, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
But this was kind of the look that we wanted and the cheapest option. We're going to put trim on the edge so that the edges are covered up and not exposed. We're going to put trim up against the wall, so we're going to be protecting all of the edges. It is going to be, you know, the frame that we built is going to brace it really well, and we think it's going to be a really good option. And we also don't plan on having this countertop forever. It's definitely a temporary situation. So it seemed like the best situation for what we need right now. I'm not saying it's for everyone or that it's forever, but I think it's going to be a good option for right now.
When it's all said and done, we are going to have had our countertops, which we don't have that many, of course, but for like under $100. So, you know, everything we're trying to do is stuff that looks good. We're also, you know, we do want it to, you know, not be crappy quality, but everything we do, we're trying, you know, like we want it to look good, we want it to be decent quality, and, you know, we want it to be inexpensive / accessible, because we don't have a mortgage out, we don't have a home construction loan, you know, we're trying to do things with cash money. And so, yeah, at the end of the day, what we're doing isn't for everyone, as Savannah already said, but it's for us. What are we doing now, Savannah?
We are prepping the walls for paint. So we're filling all these seams and nail holes. Casey's doing the nails holes with putty, and I'm using silicone to do that. I don't know how we're gonna do that up there, but it looks better already.
Yeah.
When you cover that
Like
seam up.
the silicone seam versus non-silicone.
And then we'll do a light sanding, and then we'll paint, and everything should look all the same. That's the plan.
plan. We have our paint color, but don't get excited.
Don't get excited.
I chose to put this on with my finger because it's better than the putty knife.
Oh god. Oh god, we have so much. Give me a sec, I gotta get this all rolled up. Whoa, did you see that?
No.
That thing that it just covered up so good.
From stark white to warm
Creamy white.
linen creamy white.
Oh, is it called linen white?
I don't know.
What is going on? What's wrong with this paintbrush? Yes.
I'm balancing a little.
So we spent most of the day painting the walls and kind of like sanding off the... We just moved the fridge and revealed that we still needed to paint some. Because it's beadboard, are you gonna say something?
I really like this color.
Yes, the color is very nice.
We had a hard time picking out a white, and we didn't want it to be like too not white. We wanted it to be like a warm, cozy white, and you know, wall whites look the same a lot of times, but I like it.
Yeah, it looks nice. It's
Called Canterbury
Canterbury.
by Valspar.
Valspar, yeah. That's the hardware store closest to us carries Valspar, so that's what all of our colors are going to be. But because of its beadboard, like the seams where the beadboard meets and where all the nails were, we were trying to get that to look as seamless as possible. I think we did, you know, a good enough job. I don't think that any random person would be like, oh, that looks really bad. But it's all painted minus that one spot Casey's doing right now. And we've been saying that we have to get the paint done today because we want to get the countertops on right now, like tonight. And they dried overnight in the shed. So they're definitely ready to be put in. So as soon as Casey is done painting, we're going to go get those countertops. Also wanted to tell y'all that I saw what I thought was a rattlesnake today. It was not a rattlesnake. So I had to go get some paint rollers out of our tent over there. And when I walked through the front, you know, doors, I heard something, like, it sounded like something fell, like if something was leaning against the tent and fell and slid down. That's what it sounded like. So that happens. I didn't think anything of it. And then I just like kept walking to where I was going in there. I heard this like crazy vibration. And I was just like, at first I was like, that's, you know, I just wasn't even paying attention. And then I was like, that's weird. So then I went to see what was making that noise. And then I saw what looked like a snake tail basically, but it wasn't fully registering. So I followed the tail all the way up and saw that there was a snake coiled up and up like this, staring at me. And the thing is, I was on the other side of the tent. So I was like, oh my God. And I just ran out of the tent. So I wasn't like so close to it. We were both on different sides, but it was very scary. I ran inside and I was like, Casey, there's a rattlesnake in our tent. And we just started kind of freaking out, went and looked at it. And I was like, wait a minute. What I realized is that it was a black snake. And I was like, rattlesnakes aren't black. And so we did some research. It was actually a black rat snake. And they're really great to have around actually. But they will bite you if they feel threatened. And it can hurt really bad. And they'll just keep biting you. So I'm glad that I was able to get out of there. And we kind of went back later to look for it, to actually get what I had gone in there for, and we didn't see it. So that doesn't mean it's not in there, but definitely going to be safer about going in there. We just go in there willy-nilly. I mean, we don't even think about it, but after this experience, I definitely will be thinking about it, and also make sure I have my boots on when I go in there. I did have my boots on, so that is a little protective for your ankles. This is our sink that we got for really cheap off of Marketplace. It weighs about 1,000 pounds. That's why it's on the ground, because we had to keep putting it into the hole when we were cutting a hole in the countertop for it and making sure it fit, and it didn't, and we put it down and we were like, we're not moving that until it's ready. And here's the other countertop. Okay, what I'm thinking about the lights is that I'm gonna unplug them. Wow, it's looking like a real kitchen. Nice. Is it all the way to the edge? Look at this.
This is not hooked up yet, but I just want to look at it.
Is it just sitting there?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Wow.
When this gets hooked up, I'm cooking something on 4 burners.
All 4 burners at one time.
Okay, because we've been one burner wonder, and it ain't cool, guys.
That's really nice.
Yeah,
Sheesh.
took us a long time to find this.
Yes. Something else I wanted to say about why we did, just this alternative kitchen situation is we're able to make the depth of the counters and the cabinets like a tiny bit smaller so we can have a little more space. And it's not a lot, but in making them like 2 inches less deep than a traditional kitchen, we are able to put comfortably an island in the middle. And yeah, we're definitely all about comfort. We're not going to sacrifice like a walkway, like a comfortable, like you don't feel claustrophobic walkway, just so we can have standard cabinets or like a full-size stove, as we've talked about. So that's one thing that's nice about custom doing it, is that you can just make it whatever size you want.
Our kitchen sink weighs at least 1,000 pounds.
Yeah. Next we're gonna get that, and that's probably gonna be it for today. And I'm not exactly sure what we're gonna do tomorrow, but there's still plenty of things that need to be done in here. I think that silver thing is gonna, I don't really understand why
It's sticking up more
It's-
over here than it is over here.
Wait a minute. I don't think it fits. We've had a really hard time getting the size right, and right under here you can see it's too high, which means we need to cut it, which I imagine we're not going to do today. Right, we are done for the day, but I was just going through the garden and I wanted to show you my favorite spot of the garden. It's really hard to get on camera, but this is a little pathway, but we've got all these, so this is like chest height right here for me. There's just all these really beautiful zinnias. These were all planted by seed. This is a Cosmo that's getting larger, but you can see what the flower looks like down here. And these giant amaranths, these are 7 or 8 feet into the sky. We've got marigolds. This is borage that's just kind of starting to bloom. We have a lot of beans growing up here. And then this side I love also. This is zinnias and basil. So this is what it looks like. All right, so we figured out that when we put our sink in here, that this sink is actually, we realized first of all that the hole was still too small, so we're gonna have to cut a bigger hole. And then I was, trying to figure out how this works. Let me show you. It has this ring that goes around it, which we didn't realize when we bought this sink that it had that until he gave it to us. It just looked like a sink without that. And then I realized that we would have to use this ring because there is kind of like a nasty gunk underneath where this thing was. And so I started looking into how you even install these things. And they're like really, really old. And basically it's an undermount sink. And that kind of changed everything for us because you basically have to cut out a hole as big as the metal thing, and the metal thing sits in it, and then you put the sink underneath. And this sink is so heavy, we decided we needed to look for another sink. Luckily, Casey got on Facebook Marketplace and she found basically the exact same sink, but to go in from the top, so a drop-in sink. I guess it must be a little newer, and it looked really clean, so we decided to go get that yesterday. It was $30, same price. I think this was the same price. We'll probably just keep this sink and then use it whenever we make a greenhouse. Just put it in there as a drop-in sink because we won't care that there's like a line around the edge of it. But this is where we will leave you. We'll see you next week. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Bye.